Very accurate.
Okay, takes some time.
Yep. Let me ask you this.
It seems a little 12 and pennies. I've had times when
Fine.
those two.
Ready?
We advertised,
Audio's good.
Ready?
You're live.
But that's
And
you need the bell. Gong.
That makes sense.
You let me know when you're ready, brother.
you're ready if I'm ready. I mean, I'm ready if you're ready.
No meeting report here.
And you're live streaming in the event page.
All the pages. Pretty sure. You're very looming. There you go.
This is better.
Yeah.
You're on the page, right? Not the
I'm on the event
not the
page.
group.
I haven't reshared it on the private page yet. It's on the public page.
It's on the ESC page, right?
That's the private page. You have to go over that's the private page. Not on the public.
Okay.
It's live.
All right. I'm ready. We good? We good? You can hear me? Everything's all right?
Good to go.
Give me the good thumbs up here. All right, everybody. So without further ado, thank you so much for coming. We're going to get started. We're just a few minutes behind, but it's okay. I want to let a few extra people jump in. So I have got, first of all, like I said, thank you for coming. I'm very grateful that you guys gave up your extra 45 minutes before ESC to come listen to me talk about marketing. I am also somebody who likes to live authentically 100% of the time, and I, like 90% of the population of the globe, get nervous speaking in public. And so for me, that manifests for me not breathing. And so if you see me take a second to breathe, trying to get some oxygen so I don't pass out up here. Right. Thank you.
What did he say?
You kicked me to win a fall.
Wow.
It's got to get me up and down, right? So a couple of things before I get started. I talk fast and I have a lot of content to get through, and it's really valuable. So I want to make sure that I give you guys the full presentation here. And also, if you don't feel like you want to take notes, I'm going to email you, or I can email you a copy and a full annotated version of this presentation afterwards. So before I get started again on this, my name is Marcus, obviously. If you showed up, you know that. I have been in the digital marketing industry for over 10 years now at some of the largest media companies in the country. I've started with Advanced Digital, which is the 8th largest media company in the country at the time. And then I moved over to Gray Television, which was formerly Raycom, in 2016. Started my own firm in 2019, and I moved to St. Pete 2021. Been doing my thing ever since then. So I like to consider myself a curator of information. You guys don't have time to go and read and digest and stay up to date on marketing tips and tricks. And so I've seen what works and what doesn't work according to the industry experts in my industry, and I pass it along to everybody else. So this is what I consider to be the culmination of a foundational principle for digital marketing. So here's the first slide. It's not working. The first thing is, should I build a website or a funnel? And the answer is you're going to need a version of both, and it depends on what your short-term immediate sales goals are. A website is typically not very good at converting people because there's a lot of distractions on the page, and we have the attention span of less than a goldfish. And so there's a menu link, there's a button, there's a review, there's a chat widget, there's all these different obstacles that people can encounter when they're visiting your website. And there's so many ways for them to get away from the actual objective that you want them to take. A funnel, on the other hand, is a specifically designed landing page that has one action: take the action or leave. So they're typically a lot better at making conversions, and they're just a version of your website, right? So they're going to live on your website, and they are designed to get people down the stage and the customer journey to become a customer for you. Oh, there we go. So when you're designing your landing pages and your funnels, you want to start with the importance of good user experience, a good user interface. And so these are basic elements like consistency with your fonts and your colors and your imagery, the arrangement and layouts of pages. And so our brains have evolved to be looking for threats and patterns to see for safety. And if you're presenting a jumbled mess from one page to the next and it doesn't match and there's not consistency across the presence on your mobile site and your desktop site, it sends up signals to the subconscious, and it kind of like makes us uncomfortable a little bit, right? So make sure everything is consistent with your colors and your fonts, your headers and your footers. It's just a best practice to have in place. When we look at mobile, half of all internet traffic is mobile in 2022. And you think about servers and Amazon Alexa devices and Internet of Things devices, that's a lot of things competing, and mobile is still half of the traffic of the internet. In the US, the percentage is closer to about 60%. You may even see much higher, 60 to 80% on your own websites, mobile usage. So it's very important that you have a well-designed and well-laid out mobile website. And when you think about designing for mobile, you want to think about the physical constraints, right? The phone only has so much physical real estate that you can take up. And so important things like, sorry for the left-handed people in the room. I don't know if there are left-handed people in the room, but 90% of the world, 90% of the world is right-handed. And so we get annoyed when we have to reach to the top left-hand corner to hit a menu button. So those are the kind of things when you think about physical constraints. Even better than that, this one here, you can see, well, maybe not as well, but you can see the menu is at the very top of the page. I've been seeing a lot of websites recently put the menu at the bottom of the page, and so that's where our thumbs live, and it's right there. It's a call to action, and people can easily get to it. Sticking your call to action buttons is similar to that. Make sure that people can easily take advantage of and take the action that you want them to take. Don't hide buttons. Design goes further than just the visual aspect of it. It also talks about language design. I'm not going to go too in depth on this slide just yet because there's more later on in the presentation. But basically, we fall into 3 areas of the sales cycle: top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. At the top, people don't necessarily know that they have a problem, and they definitely don't know that you exist. In the middle, people may be aware that they have a problem, and they're now kind of like seeking out opinions or options of what they have to solve this problem. And then bottom of funnel people are people who know that they have a problem, they're actively looking for a solution, and they're trying to choose and decide between who is going to provide them the service that they're looking for. So when you look at starting from scratch, right? I build websites all the time. I build landing pages and funnels all the time. It is such a pain for me to build something from scratch. And so I always look at my competitors first. And so this is actually a technique. If you're at all familiar with Russell Brunson, the founder of ClickFunnels, I'm a huge fan of Russell, and there's a lot of his stuff in this presentation. But he has a term called reverse funnel hacking, where you go and you look at your competitors in the industry, those that are doing well. And the process is you basically go and find all your competitors in the space, and you look for the commonalities. You look at what are they doing on the page, the language and the positioning that they're using to talk to their users. And then you take that and you model your presence off of it. It's really important to note here, modeling it and not copying it, because we're not plagiarizers and we're not trying to do shady stuff, right? So model it. After you build your website, now kind of comes the fun part. It's not over at that point. There are some things that you have to do and you have to put in place in order to understand how to maximize your efforts and what you've just done. Google Search Console and Page Speed Insights. Google Search Console will actually tell you your keyword rankings for the keywords on your website, the traffic and the clicks and the click-through rate, so you can monitor your positioning on Google search engines. Page Speed Insights will tell you the speed at which your page loads. That's very important because in 2015, way back as 2015, Google started implementing mobile penalties if you didn't have a good mobile experience, and Facebook will actually charge you higher rates in your ads if you don't have a good mobile experience and if your page doesn't load very well. So it's very important, actually. One note on that, Page Speed Insights, Google Page Speed Insights will typically give you a little bit of a skewed answer. There's a couple of other sites called GTmetrix and Pingdom, which paint a more accurate picture with your page speed. Conversion rate optimization is CRO. Basically, after you've built your site or your funnel, you're looking to see how can you change things to increase the amount of conversions that you get. So when you're looking at conversion rate optimization, you're looking to make one change at a time. So you're changing the headline and seeing and testing, how does this work? You're changing the button color. You're changing the call to action language. One element at a time, because if you do multiple of them, you're not going to know which one had the most impact and which one led to the highest bump in conversion rate. The last is tracking tools, right? It does no good if you're running traffic to your site and you don't know what's happening with it, right? So Google Analytics is a staple, it's a standard. The Google Ads tag helps you out with your Google Ads and it communicates back and forth. Hotjar is actually really cool. It will actually let you see people's journey on your website and where their mouse goes and what buttons they click and where they scroll. You can watch somebody interact with your website. It's really fun to do. Snapchat, Facebook, and TikTok Pixel connects you with the rest of the pixel installations on the rest of the internet, right? So that's how Facebook and all these other platforms are able to get such good results, is that they have these pixels on almost every other website on the internet. And so they know all the traffic and they know the types of people that are viewing those pages. And you're now connected into that with your pixel. So it's really optimizing your ad spend results. And it's essential that you have these pixels in place if you're going to run ads for people. So I won't talk too much about SEO because SEO is a dense subject and it's very complex and it changes all the time. But these four are ones that won't change. So heading tags and meta tags, if you search for something, that's the title, right? The first thing that you see is the heading tag. And then the meta tag is that little snippet of text below it describing what's on the page. So you definitely want to make sure that you have those. If you're going to show up in search engines, you want to make sure you're presenting the right information. Otherwise, your website builder will grab random information and put it in there for you. And so think about if you manage to get on the first page of Google and you don't have those set and it's totally irrelevant information, you're killing your conversion rate with that. Image alt text gives you the opportunity to show up on Google image search. So if you ever hover over an image and you see that little text box come up, that's the image alt text. Just basic, it's easy to do. I always recommend people do it. And then sitemaps are a literal map of your website that you submit to search engines so they can canonize it and say, here, put it in the index. This is how my site operates. This sitemap also is done. You can submit it in Google Search Console and it expedites the process. They will crawl it automatically, but it just expedites the process. So that's kind of the foundation, right? We talked about the framework and the structure in which you need to stick to. Now we get into digital marketing, and this is the methodology and the messaging and the way that you put your information out there. 78% of people do product research online. This number is probably very low. I don't know anybody that doesn't go online to do their product research, but that's the official statistic. It could be. Probably. Yeah, probably. That's a good point. So how do you start, right? Marketing 101, where do you begin? Start with goal setting, right? Who is the person that you're trying to talk to and what problem are you trying to solve for that person? We'll talk a little bit about creating an ideal customer avatar next, but you want to go in depth and further than just who they are and where they live. Then you want to figure out what is the tone of voice and the positioning of the messaging that you're going to be speaking to these people in. How are you going to talk to them? What is a story that you're going to tell? And telling an immersive story is key to selling somebody online. And how do you do that? What is the epiphany bridge? What is the story that you tell somebody to take them from uninterested in your product to saying, yes, I have to have it? How can you get them to have that aha moment to switch over and become a customer? So again, you need to go way further with your ideal customer avatar. When somebody asks you, who do you look to serve? You want to be naming this person. You want to give them a name and a physical attribute because you may sell to millions of people, but you talk to one person at a time. And so when you're able to connect further and deeper with one person individually each time by defining this ideal customer avatar, it makes your job a lot easier. And so you should be looking to define not only their demographics of, again, their location, occupation, how much money they make and where they're at, right? Their age. You want to know what are their goals and aspirations, fears and frustrations, hobbies and interests and characteristics and lifestyles, right? If you fill this out, this gives you material that you can use in your marketing copy, in your social posts, and you're speaking directly to that person. So let's talk about this example, Rebecca, right? She wants to have a stronger relationship and she likes walking on the beach, but she struggles with self-doubt and she loves to travel, right? So think about how much more impactful an ad that talks about working on building better relationships while also struggling with self-doubt, but it's an easy to use audiobook format that you can listen to while you're walking on the beach traveling to Mexico. That message is a lot different than saying, download our audiobook on how to overcome self-doubt. That's a big difference, right? So if you really dial in with the ideal customer avatar, you're giving yourself language to use in your headlines and your body copy and everything else. And you're making somebody feel like they actually matter. And so when you do that, you're creating positioning. I love positioning. It's one of my favorite marketing techniques. The media does a really great job of this. When we talk about positioning and presenting the facts in a certain way, you have the same ability to do that with your marketing copy as well. The way that you present information matters and you can control the narrative. And so how is that done? It's through copywriting and storytelling. Copywriting and copy is anything intended to persuade the right viewer, reader, or listener to take action. This quote comes from Jim Edwards. I love Jim Edwards. He's a master at copywriting. If you haven't read his book, Copywriting Secrets, highly pick it up. You only have to pay shipping. It's a free plus shipping offer. and it will teach you a lot about copywriting. So what is copy? Copy is the intersection between the story, what is being said, who is being said to, the persona, and then how is the message being positioned, right? The positioning. That comes to your copy. And so think about how you can tie your copy to core emotions that we as humans identify with the most: love, hate, pride, fear, freedom, discomfort. All of those things are things that we think about on a daily basis. And if you can start speaking to those emotions, it's going to create, again, a more powerful connection with you and your product. If anybody knows me, and a lot of you people around the table know me, I am a geek when it comes to AI, especially ChatGPT. So this was written. If you're not familiar with ChatGPT, please go check it out. There's a QR code at the end of this. I've got a 25-minute training. It's free. That teaches you how to write your entire marketing plan using ChatGPT. This was written entirely untouched. I didn't touch it at all. ChatGPT and other copywriting tools with AI are here to change our entire world, and I'm here for it, right? So this is kind of a little recipe that you can use, actually, to kind of get ahead. If you are new to the copywriting game or AI copywriting, this is something that you can use, right? Go back to your reverse funnel hacking and pull one part of your competitor research, mix in your unique selling points, and season it with a specific tone of voice that you use for people. And then you want to add in a few extra pain points, again, to evoke that pain response or pleasure response for people. And then blend it in ChatGPT, and it's going to give you a result, right? You actually don't need to do all of these parts with ChatGPT. You could just tell it what style you want it written in, or you can respond back and say, I don't really like the way you did that. Can you do it a different way? But this is a great recipe for it. You will be astounded, again, if you haven't used the results, on what you'll get out of this. So copywriting and storytelling is intended to bridge the gap. How do you get somebody to have that epiphany moment and that paradigm shift to get them from prospect to customer? It's done. This is another Russellism, the hook, story, offer framework, right? So hook somebody's attention, right? You've got their attention. You can now tell them a story about what your product or service does, how you got into that. And then the offer is basically making them an offer, right? You've convinced them enough to listen to you. Now you get to present an offer as a reward for your hard work. So when we start about the hook, we're in a mostly visual world at this point, right? Overly saturated image, clickbait videos, shocking videos, right? That's one part of a hook. The other part of a hook is a headline. So it's your one chance to get somebody to stop their scroll and take notice of what you have to say. The most important aspect of the hook is going to be the headline. When you talk about headlines, 80% of your marketing dollars are spent on the headline. 5 times as many people will read the headline as they do the body copy. So your headlines are critically important, and make sure that those are always your first thing that you're tweaking when it comes to your conversion rate optimization. And so when you're writing headlines, how can you get your headlines to talk about how your products help people save time, reduce effort, reduce stress, or make them more money? These are all things that we think about on a daily basis. And so if you can start talking about and entering the conversations that people are already having in their mind, it's a phrase that I've used for years. If somebody sees, here's an example. If somebody wakes up worrying about their money situation or whatever else that morning, and then you show them, they come across your social posts or your ads, and you're talking about financial freedom and how you can help solve their problem, you've just connected the dots in their brain for something that's already on their mind, and now they're more likely to want to learn more from you. So think about how you can enter the conversations people are already having in their minds. And so you do that with your storytelling, right? You're looking to build a personal connection with people because we hate to be sold, but we love to buy things. And so we justify our purchases. We buy on emotion, we justify with logic, right? And so that's the whole game with storytelling, is you want to get people so excited that they just can't, wait to get their product, and all barriers to purchase are gone, essentially. And so one of the most effective ways you can do effective storytelling is just basically by being yourself and being authentic. You can see I geek out about marketing and I geek out about AI stuff. Let that come through, because chances are at one point you guys saw a problem, and as entrepreneurs said, I want to solve this problem. You went through the process and you're emotionally connected to it. Let that flow through. And it's difficult. It's very difficult to do, because I have been around many other business owners who had a huge enthusiasm for their product and their service, and the way that it impacts people's lives does not translate to camera. So take that with a grain of salt. It's difficult, but if you're comfortable enough, Try to sell your story, right? Try to incorporate your journey into your sales material. And so what that essentially looks like is I had a problem. Here's the hook. Here's what I did to solve the problem. This is the story. Here's the result and how you can do it too. This is the offer. So hook, story, offer, right? And so we receive information in multiple different ways. So saying a version of this story in multiple different ways can oftentimes help people connect the dots on the first time that they heard it. They didn't necessarily connect the dots that way. The second time you said it slightly different, and it helped them kind of ease that journey and turned over a new leaf in their mind. So we told them, we got their hook. We told them a story, and now we're able to present an offer. This is where a lot of people will fall down on because they just assume that people made it this far, they're good, they're ready to buy from us, right? No, you have to explicitly tell the sheep what we need to do, right? Buy this product, sign up for this product, right? Tell them explicitly what to do. And when you're doing that, you also want to reinforce too that you're making the right decision by taking this action. Imagine if you didn't solve this problem, where you would be in 2 years from now or 3 years from now. That's called negative future pacing. So when you're getting people to take action and move forward, reinforce the positive aspects of it. Praise them for doing a good job, right? So that's what we look like when it comes to creating an offer. So how do you create a killer offer? An offer is not necessarily your main product or service, but it's simply a vehicle by which people can come in and be a part of your environment. So when you're creating your offers, this is a point that a lot of people struggle with, especially when they're launching a funnel or something like that. They'll do their design and they'll launch their funnel and they don't get any sales, right? They'll think, well, what's the problem, right? Isn't the product bad? Is the price point too high? If you don't have all the extra elements, or if it's just not very valuable, you can add other things. You can look at what are the other problems that your product will create, and then add solutions into your main offer to make it a complete one-stop shop. And if you really want to make it a complete one-stop shop, Marlon Sanders talks about looking at your competitors' unique selling points and then adding those in to your product. So you really, there's no reason for anybody to go anywhere else for the solution. You have everything there. And so when you're communicating your offer, you want to communicate it in a way called an offer stack. And some of you may have seen this, right? When you see at the bottom of the page, right before the pricing, you get this, 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 and this. And you've got the number associated with it. And it's usually got a strike through. And it's got a value of, right? This is where a lot of people will go off the rails, especially internet marketing folks. This is a great tactic, but be realistic with the offers, right? People are going to see through the BS if you're trying to put an ebook in there and say it's a $300 value when we all know maybe worth 20 bucks, right? So don't be realistic when it comes to your values. Similar to the offer stack is the value ladder. So this is another Russellism, but basically when you're looking to get people involved in your atmosphere, in your ecosystem, you want to give them something for free to get them on the rung and to get them involved with you. And you're looking to deliver something so good that by the end of it, they're totally bought in and they're ready to start climbing the ladder and look at your next paid service. And it goes up and up. So you've got your free offer, your low ticket offers, mid ticket, and eventually your high ticket offers. So how can you get consistent delivery of value as people go up the value ladder? One of the ways to do that, community marketing. We all know the power of Facebook groups. Look at the St. Pete Girl Boss and what a community phenomenon it is here. So group and community marketing is especially powerful. It can be done by Facebook groups, Reddit forums, internet forums, clubhouse rooms. You're looking to kind of create an atmosphere in which you have solved a problem for a group of people, and you've made such an impact on their life that they are now doing the marketing and advertising on your behalf. And so you can get more and more people into that. And a great way to really incentivize that is actually with affiliate marketing. So if you haven't done affiliate marketing, basically you're giving somebody a link, and anytime they post it and somebody purchases from their link, they get an automatic cutback, right? So affiliate marketing is a great way to grow organically. Community marketing, and this will lead into the next thing, is an organic tactic, right? We don't want to pay for marketing. We don't want to pay Zuckerberg or Google, right? And maybe we'll get some results, but community marketing is free. It just costs some sweat equity. Another thing that costs sweat equity, but is an extremely powerful technique, is called the Dream 100, which is you are essentially, an example is if you think about your favorite movie, right? The stars will go around to all the daytime talk shows, the morning shows, whatever else, and they'll go and they'll talk about the movie upcoming. The point is you're looking to find people who have already assembled the eyeballs that you want to be in front of, and you're asking to be a part of their community. And you want to do this in a way that you're following these people online and you are giving them value. You're leaving comments and thoughtful posts and sending them things that they can put out to their audience so that when you do ask to be a part of their and showcase your product on their channel, it's much more likely to be received in a positive light versus if you just followed them and DM'd them and said, hey, can I be a guest post on your podcast, right? And so when you look at assembling your D100, we consume content in a multitude of different ways, right? Facebook, Instagram, podcasts, all these different things. So you can have multiple of these lists. I will tell you that this is extremely time intensive, not only to find the people, but to verify how much activity they have, and then also do the outreach and kind of like relationship nurturing with them. I would highly recommend hiring a VA for this. If you want to do it yourself, more power to you, but it takes a lot of time and effort. So that kind of concludes the marketing aspect of this. And now we'll move into advertising. What is the difference, right? Marketing is basically your brand online. It's all of your brand elements and how you position yourself and put your message out to the market. Advertising is just the vehicle by which you deliver that marketing message. And advertising is relatively easy. And I say that because I know that there are probably some people around the table thinking, yeah, right, advertising is not easy. It's not. It's relatively easy because even a novice advertiser, if they have a good offer and they've got a good experience online, the tools that Facebook and Snapchat and TikTok and Google have now, you can get ridiculous sales off of it if you've got a good offer and if you've got a good presence. So the rest of this isn't going to be how to run Facebook ads or the best tips and tricks for TikTok. The rest of this is going to be kind of like advertising foundational principles in terms of how you can maximize the dollars that you're spending. Email marketing is one of them. Shout out, Brian. Email marketing is one of them. 44 times return on investment is the average. Email marketing is still the king. It's one of the oldest forms of digital marketing. The reason is because you own the list and you don't have to pay Zuckerberg every single time you want to show a message to somebody. You have a direct line of communication to somebody's inbox, and it costs you less than a cent to send them that message. So email marketing is still the king when it comes to return on investment. So how do you do email marketing right? Starts with lead magnets. What can you offer somebody of value to give them a piece of what you do and the service that you deliver to people? And then what do you do after that? That's where drip campaigns come into place. Lead nurturing. So maybe they did download a lead magnet, but they didn't take your upsell offer. Send them 3 to 5 emails afterwards to get them to convert over. Abandoned cart nurture sequence. We all put things in our cart all the time, but how many advertisers are actually sending a follow-up afterwards a few hours later? Hey, we saved your cart if you want to come back for it. So it's just a couple of examples of drip campaigns and how do they actually work? How do those things get sent out to people? And it's done through automations. So platforms have automation tools built into them so you can send this out and you're not sitting at 10 p.m. on a Saturday night sending out an email blast for people that put something in their cart last week, right? It's all automated. So after you've done your drip campaigns and you've kind of gotten people through the flow, what do you do with them? Seinfeld lists, another Russellism. Basically, you want to just deliver consistent value so every time that somebody sees your name in their inbox, they can expect something good from you. And the quickest way to get somebody to unsubscribe is if they subscribe to your list and then you hit them with promotions 5 times in a row. Out. Nobody likes that. So deliver value to people. Make sure that they're looking forward and they actually get something of use out of the communication that you send them. So we talk about the right customer at the right time earlier, top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. This is a little bit more in-depth explanation of it, but you're not going to talk to somebody that is unaware of who you are and what the product or problem is as if you would somebody who's been dealing with the issue for the last 5 years. It's a totally different emotional state. So your marketing message and the language you use to communicate to people needs to be different based off of where they are in the sales journey. So these 3 stages correspond to the 5 stages of awareness by Eugene Schwartz. Basically, problem, unaware, or indifferent. They don't necessarily know if they have a problem, and they don't necessarily know who you are. People in the middle of funnel, they are aware that there is a problem and that there are solutions that are available to them. They're just trying to kind of figure a little bit more information out. Bottom of funnel people, most aware. They're aware of the product. They need the product, the problem solved now. They're looking to see who is the best fit to help them solve their problems. So top of funnel is where you're going to spend the majority of your time and effort because you're trying to cast as wide a net as possible to get as many people down the funnel and through your customer journey as you can. So when you're looking at top of the funnel advertising and marketing on your landing pages and funnels, you want to start to introduce the problem, really focus on the problem or the pain that they're having and the pleasure that can be evoked by having your product or service. And then you want to kind of talk a little bit about the features and benefits. Really, you really want to focus on, and if you were here for Jamie's talk a few weeks ago, focus on them, not you. We don't care about brands anymore. We care about solving our problems. I only care about who can solve my problems. I don't care how long you've been in business, honestly. So top of funnel people, this is going to take up the majority of your time. It's just the time and effort. Middle of funnel people who haven't necessarily visited your website, but maybe they've watched a video on your socials or interacted with you in another way that isn't your website. And so when you're talking to people middle of funnel, you want to be reinforcing the benefits and the solutions that you're offering and backing that up with social proof, so testimonials and case studies, because these people are now kind of like beginning their product research stage and they need to know that you can actually deliver on what you're saying you can deliver. Bottom of funnel people who have visited your website and they're now kind of like ready to make a decision. So the messaging that's going on here is a combination of the two before. You want to continue reinforcing that you can do what you say you're doing with social proof and testimonials and case studies, but also reiterate the pain points that they're facing, continue making it about them, and do some future pacing, right? Imagine your life 2 years from now when you put the solution in place. Positive reinforcement. You can also look to introduce scarcity at this point, right? This is where you can do limited time launches, limited amount of offers, countdown clocks, discount coupons, right? Anything to get somebody over that last little hump to get them to turn into a customer. So 2 slides left. I promise I'm almost done rambling. How to segment your messaging, right? So this is where we talk about most all advertising platforms that today will give you the ability to segment your messaging specifically based on how people have interacted with you. So cold audiences are they've never interacted with you before. You want to exclude people who have watched your videos, interacted with your social profiles, and visited your websites. Your warm traffic are people who have watched a certain percentage of your videos or have engaged or liked or reacted to your posts on social, but have not visited your website. And you want to exclude people who have visited your website. Hot audiences, you want to only include those people and exclude people who have engaged with your socials and done all of those things with your ads. And so by doing this, you're able to show different messaging to people at a different stage in the cycle, right? And it's making a more impactful use of your dollar versus you just doing one campaign, talking to brand new people in the same way that you're talking to people who will know a little bit about you at the same time for people who've already visited your site, right? So it gives you the opportunity to create and talk about different messaging. It's the middle and bottom of funnel, warm and hot audiences fall under what's called retargeting campaigns or remarketing. And so that's basically if somebody has interacted with you in some substantial way, which you get to define what that is, you will then serve them ads again because they've done that. And you're looking to create an omnipresent approach here. I did a TikTok the other day about this. The show New Girl does a really great explanation of this. They talk about it with picking up people at a wedding, and they call it Bidening. So when somebody's at the bar, be there. When somebody's at the dance floor, be there. When somebody's at the end of the night, be there. Same thing with retargeting. They go to Facebook, you're there. They go to Instagram, you're there. They go to their favorite news site, you're there. So retargeting, our brains need to see a message between 5 and 7 times before it says, hey, dude, what are we doing with this? Are we going to take action on it or are we going to ignore it? Right? So showing up one time in front of people is not going to cut it. Retargeting gives you the opportunity to get back in front of somebody. And even if this is actually a super low cost strategy, you can do this on Facebook and get tremendous results by $2 a day, $60 a month, right? So retargeting is an extremely powerful tactic when it comes to kind of regenerating customer interest. So in conclusion, right, decide whether to build a website or funnel based on your immediate short-term goals, implement a brand kit and consistency across your entire online presence. If you're stuck with where to start, look at your competitors first. Make sure you've got all the basic web elements in place, tracking metrics and all those things. You may sell to millions, but you speak to each one individually. And you build a great product by speaking and building a comprehensive suite of solutions around that product. You own your email list, and you will never have to pay for another advertising dollar again. Talk to your customer with language that speaks to their level of awareness. And if your ads don't work, have you tried testing more? That's essentially it for tonight. I gave you 42 slides. I gave you too much information. I know that I did. This is how I help people. This is how I work with people. So I offer a software system that combines over a dozen different marketing tools into one. Things like funnel building, email automations, email scheduling, social scheduling, two-way text and email communication, forms, surveys, funnels, a whole lot more. These are all the things that are included. So I offer that. Just basic. You can build it out yourself. I have support widgets and help documents in place to teach you how to use this software system. And then I also have a fully automated turnkey solution that I am beta testing right now. I'm launching it. I've got a fully customized version of it for mental health professionals, but I need to test it to see how well it works with just the general public to see how the automation systems work well. I also have a 7-day funnel challenge starting on Monday. So if you want to learn how to build a funnel, I will teach you in half an hour each day. And then I'll also have a group live in a Facebook or Zoom room to come in and ask questions each day if you're building and doing in the software. And then I also work on a consultant basis, right? So if you've got marketing campaigns and you don't necessarily know what a click-through rate is and what your conversion rate should be, I'm happy to help you understand all of that and implement suggestions on how you can improve your marketing campaigns. So that's it.
Right.
Question?
I missed the first part.
All right. All right.
But
All right.
Remarketing.
All right, let's do it.
Relatively cheap.
Yep.
And you said it was like $2 a day.
Yep.
When I tried to do remarketing with another company, it got really expensive really fast.
So you can start with as little as $2 per day. So when you look at retargeting and remarketing, you're looking at your traffic to your website, and you're going to create a custom audience for site visitors, for people who have visited your website for the last 30 days. And so if you've got 15,000 visitors, yeah, it could get expensive. But if you've got 500, it's a lot lower, right? So when we talk about cheap, and you control the budget, right? If you tell Facebook $2 a day, it's going to deliver $2 a day. If you don't have enough people in the audience,